You are now listening to Templar Talks, the premier podcast for all things relating to Magic the Gathering. Latest product releases, online drama, the UK competitive scene, we cover it all and much more. Hosted by the elder statesmen of Team Templar, Stephen and Tod, you'll get the true old man shouts at cloud take in all of its glory. Episodes are brought to you monthly on both YouTube and Spotify, so please make sure to hit the respective follow buttons and ensure you don't miss an episode. Templar MTG is proud to support its local game store Athena Games in Norwich, hosting a wide variety of events for TCGs, RPGs and tabletop gaming. There's something for everyone. Make sure to check them out. Welcome to Templar Talks. We have rejigged the format, as is the way. Todd is going to be a permanent guest here. He will permanently be spilling things down himself just before we start
this
talking.
week it was Jaeger.
Yes. Yeah. Just before...
I wasn't beaten by a can of water.
Straight
Who
down.
has water in a can? Only Stephen.
Well, I was looking for, as a, you are a vegan, it is known. I was looking for sustainable ways. I don't like tap water. I hate tap water.
Yeah. And in Norfolk, it's not water, it's just thick
it
lime
is the
scale.
worst. So I was going through so much bottled water, I was like, surely there's a slightly better way to do this that doesn't kill the dolphins as quickly,
As quickly, that's the caveat.
That is the caveat, yeah.
We will destroy the planet, but we could slow it down a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, so today we have we actually have an agenda today. We have a few topics for you. We're going to be going over some of the latest Twitter discourse, which is always fun. Try and get ourselves cancelled nice and quickly. We're going to be going over Commander Masters. The full set has been spoiled. All the Commander decks have been spoiled. The Pioneer RCQ season is starting to come to a close. We're going to summarise our thoughts on that. And talk about some of the upcoming events we'll be going to. And in addition, the exciting part, this episode you could be listening to on Spotify. So now you don't have to just have the video. You don't even have to watch us. So
and why would you want to?
Exactly.
Just to look at my stain.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess that is the thing. We'll have to be really descriptive for the audio listeners about. That's
fine.
The spells.
I can Tolkien it up like Lord of the Rings
7-page description on the spillage. So yeah, to start things off with the Twitter discourse and drama. It's nothing too deep. There's been a lot of conversation going on about foreign cards. Me, with my scatterbrain personality and addictive personality, I have started playing Pokemon recently, which I think ties in with their foreign card policy, and should that be enforced in Magic? The situation was at a competitive event. Someone registered a deck with 4 copies of Duress. They cast the card. It was one of the Strixhaven Mystical Archives in Japanese. Their opponent asked what card it was. Was it Thoughtseize? They said, no, it's Duress. And then they asked for the Oracle text, and it was an Inquisition of Kozilek. So the judges ruled in this case that they could swap it out for Duress because they genuinely believed the person thought it was Duress. And the game went on and nothing happened. This was all over Twitter. There were lots of sources for it. Judges were talking about it. I've confirmed this happened and it wasn't my imagination and that other people I've spoken to saw it, but we cannot find it. It started a whole conversation though on foreign cards. Players were saying they don't want to play comp Magic anymore if they're not allowed to use foreign cards. Blah, 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 blah. So where do you kind of land on it? Well, do you have issues with foreign cards at all, or are you...
Well, let's clarify for the listeners. The Pokemon ruling is that if you play in England, you play English cards.
Correct.
If you play in Japan, you play Japanese cards. If you play in Spain, you play Spanish cards, right?
Correct. And even if it's a one-off tournament, that tournament is in that language.
Yes. So everything is in the native language of the place that you are playing the tournament.
Yeah.
Unlike Magic, where you can play Japanese cards in an English tournament, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Now, we're also looking at a card game that phyrexerizes cards, full arts cards. I mean, back in player rewards times where it was...
Textless, the Snap card. Was there Snapcasters?
I just
Maybe
remember
not.
the Terminates, Sign in Blood,
Yeah.
Lightning Helix, and there was no explanation, right? You just kind of were like, what does that do? And you could have said, I don't know, sells me your wife, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's true, who knows? Where do I sit on it? I think that ruling was fair. I think that's a naive mistake of the person playing the game, right?
Yeah.
Like they registered for duress without checking the card's duress.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure duress is a common.
Yeah. There was the other parallel that was talked about a lot was opt and consider, and I guess it came up actually with Alex when we were talking about the new. I think it's new Elvish Mystic, and he wanted a Llanowar Elves, but functionally they are the same card.
Yeah. Whereas consider and opt are obviously not.
But in terms of text and numbers, they could appear the same way.
Yeah.
You know, scry one.
I think, if in doubt, put your hand up, call a judge, gather in text. I don't think it's been an issue in the time that I have played the game. This is a very niche event, which is amusing. But probably
not that common.
No, and any foreign language card, like I've played against blue-white control players who've Japanised their deck.
Yeah,
you know, every card's in Japanese, and some of it I recognise. I'm like, oh, that's a Glacial Fortress, that's a Hall of the Storm Giants or whatever. But if in doubt, I've always just been like, do you mind if I gather the card or call a judge and we just clarify what that specific card does? And that's usually fine. If it's ever gets into the counterbalance realm of, wow, this is literally sucking up time that it doesn't need to, then I think they need to reevaluate.
So I was going to try and play devil's advocate a little bit to that, because I do agree. I think freedom of expression is, like, I think alters and stuff are fine, like, within reason, as long as the card is clear and you can define what the card does. But is there a case of wasting round time in terms of, obviously extensions are allowed because you've asked a judge. However, are you wasting the time of every other player in the room? So my only experience, there's kind of two parts to this story. My experiences with playing against someone with heavily foreign cards. Actually, there's been loads of experiences. I've played more comp Magic, but in my first big comp event, there were two sides to the story. Since then, it's always been a Murktide deck that I know back to front, or a common list that you know I'm aware of and I know what all the cards are, so it's not an issue. The first time I encountered it was my first Mega Modern at Axion, and a relatively large known player that I didn't know was known at the time. I didn't know they were an experienced player, who I will not name. I came up against them. They were playing a deck that I hadn't played against before, which was Creativity. I'd done some limited testing, but no one at Athena was playing Creativity. I hadn't really looked into the deck. Obviously, a lot of those cards, you can see in the play pattern that something is going to happen, because they're not doing anything, so they're dawdling. It's like, okay, the cogs are whirring, what are they trying to do here? So I want to know every bit of text. And they basically just kept saying it'd be easier if we got a judge over, which is fair. But that added at least 5 to 6 minutes to each game minimum, which wasn't an issue. The game was over before round time, so it wouldn't have mattered. But if that happens in multiple games, like waste judge time, I see from that side. But the story they told me about foreign cards was that it's really funny, because a friend of theirs has a full Tron deck in Russian with different art Tron lands, and how hilarious it is to try and watch players play against it. For those that don't know, Tron, it's a big modern deck. There's 3 different Tron lands. One of them gives you 3 mana, one of them gives you 2, one of them gives you 2 when you have all 3. So obviously 2 of them, functionally, text-wise, in a non-English language, are pretty much the same. You know, functionally, there's going to be a 2 there. It's going to be hard. They're both 2-word kind of names. So they were highlighting it in the sense of, isn't that hilarious that they can catch new players out?
Confusing. Yeah.
So from that point of view, is the real issue around foreign cards not limiting people's self-expression, but is it the players that are the problem? Which I'll always come back to. You know, I don't want to come across as just someone that fucking hates Magic players, but like sometimes some of the stuff competitive players do is like, are you actually okay? Like, it is a children's card game. So I think that is more the issue. It's like when it's used in such a, like, I don't know, it's such a. So when I first played the Legacy tournament, came up against a player and they said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, my deck's in in foreign language, I'll explain every card like, you're new to Legacy, that's awesome. They did it in such a nice way, but then the experience from that to the first person just kind of being like, just call a judge. It's like you don't get a nice interaction there with just kind of, oh, do you mind if I read that card? Yeah, call a judge. It's like, oh.
What's kind of, if there's an exploit, right, people are going to exploit it. And having foreign cards allowed in Magic comp events means that somebody is going to exploit it the same way that they exploit different arts. We won't, but we could talk about Dryad Arbor.
Yeah.
Obviously
hidden in the forest,
or in the wrong zone or whatever. If there's an exploit, people are going to exploit it for their gain. Do we then limit it? I think your comment on like Legacy is interesting, because Legacy is a format where cards don't really change, and decks stay around a lot longer. So and there's a wealth disparity there, right? Like if you're playing Legacy, you're probably going to have more money and resources than others, so you will go for the pimp. Oh, how can I make my deck different? Do you know what? Yes, I got D&T in normal English paper non-foil. Now I'm gonna get Russian foils. Obscure arts, let's go. And actually, does that matter? Probably not, because everyone knows that that's Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, right?
But I think that's more the issue of like does everyone know? And I guess there's the argument of at a comp event people should know, but it is just like how you approach that. Like but basically, I guess to move on to the next topic and summarize my opinion on it, and you can weigh in if you disagree. But my view is kind of just don't be a dick. Like, as is often the conclusion that I come to when I read a lot of Twitter discourse and drama.
I think it's important that if you are the person doing the foreign language thing, that maybe you keep English copies as well.
I think that is the easiest explanation, because you could just have a reference point.
And like with alters and kind of people who foil decks, I know that when we travelled with a member from Norwich who had a foil deck, before every tournament he would approach a judge and say, can you just look through this and tell me it's okay? Right. And they would go, oh, do you know what, actually that's too bent, that's a marked card, swap it out. Like if you're running a full foreign deck, go and ask the judge if that's all right. Do you know what I mean? Like get it deck checked before the tournament, and then you're not going to come into trouble, and people aren't going to assume that you are purposefully duping them, right? Which is the feeling new players might get if you just go.
I guess it gives the judges even a heads up that like there may be calls
in your direction, right. And they might hang around. But don't be a dick. Next.
So Commander Masters has been fully spoiled. We have the whole list of spoilers. I'm assuming, based on our previous experiences, you don't really know too much about what's in the set.
I've seen the headlines, right? Okay. Like Jeweled Lotus, whee, Jeweled Lotus. I'm ready. I'm buzzing. Commander Masters is going to be savage. I love seeing prices drop of important cards, and I love a bit of CEDH. Probably not your dirtly Commander decks. I don't have time for that. 3-hour games, no thank you. But Jeweled Lotus, ramp out my boy. Absolutely ready for that. Buzzing about it. Now, I'm a person, past 2 sets, Universes Beyond, I bought all 4 Warhammer decks, all 4 Lord of the Rings decks. I was disappointed in the 4 Lord of the Rings decks. They didn't really bring much to the table, which means I haven't really looked at the 4 Commander Master precons. I know one's about slivers. I like slivers, but it's one of those decks where you like buy all the tribal pieces, and then you're like, oh, now I have to drop £100 for like Sliver Hive Lord or Sliver Great Mother or whatever random 5-colour sliver is going to ramp up your team. Not sure I'm all about that. I think it's cool that they're bringing like fresh cards to these kind of core go-to decks. Oh, my man plays elves. Right, it's all, never gets a new card, like randomly gets.
Okay, so I'll stop your excitement there, because I want to give you some facts about the set now. It's all been fully spoiled.
Has
Now,
it been fully spoiled?
It has been fully spoiled.
Okay.
Everything is out. So I may be wrong on this fact. It's either 4/6. Every card in this set is a reprint.
Every card.
Every single card in this set is a
There's
reprint.
no new but there's new cards in the precons, right?
In the precons, I believe each precon has 4 new cards. I will confirm that shortly. We forgot to go back and correct this. It's actually 10 new cards in each Commander precon. However, most of our comments here are still relevant to the subject. It is just slightly less exemplified because there are 40 new cards being brought in Commander Masters. However, I want to go back to Jeweled Lotus. We were very hyped about that. That was the first card they showed. Would you be still excited about it, knowing that Jeweled Lotus is like 50 quid or whatever, right, in the UK now? Yeah. The set is £300 for a draft box, £400 for a set box. Collector's boosters are 200 for 4 packs. We know that the collector's is whatever.
Yeah.
That's inflation on the last set. It is what it is. Jeweled Lotus is the second most expensive card in this set by $3. So the most expensive card in this set for a £300 draft experience is $71.
Oh.
Now, there are only 4 cards in this set, pre-release, over $50. Mana Crypt is not in the set. What else was there? Okay, so to reel off the top 5 cards to get your reaction on, are they key reprints? Loyal Retainers is number 1, which is just expensive because it's very expensive because it hasn't been reprinted in a long time. Sacrifice it, return target legendary card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate any during your turn before attackers are declared.
What?
Yeah. So, Jeweled Lotus, number 2.
Wait, no, hang on a minute. So, Loyal Retainers, you can... It's not... You
so,
can't
one white, 2 generic. Sacrifice Loyal Retainers. Return target legendary creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only during your turn before attackers are declared.
Right, so my first main phase...
Combat before declaration of attackers.
Boring. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's the most expensive card. Second most is Jeweled Lotus. Third, we take Doubling Season, which needed a reprint.
Yeah. But they
Fourth, though,
that in Modern.
Capture of Xingzhao. So, take an extra turn. Hasn't been reprinted in ages, 5 mana.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Avacyn, Angel of Hope.
That's boring.
Number 6 is Your Dragon.
Random.
So basically, it's cards that haven't been reprinted in a long time. Great Henge, Sunquow, Lord of Wu.
Great Henge is a good reprint.
Sure.
So, right, they've called it Commander Masters. That's what we thought it was for. Maybe it's not for that. Maybe it's one of those dupe sets where
But every reprint is not like Modern. There are no Modern reprints in this other than maybe Finale of Devastation and Ulamog if you want to use them. But most of it is Commander heavy, really Commander heavy. Like some stuff like Hammer of Nazan have been reprinted and the Steel Shaper's Gift. There's a few like smaller ones.
That's what I mean. Like Steel Shaper's Gift, that's a good reprint. But maybe this is the Pauper set that Pauper players have been waiting for. Do you know
maybe.
what I mean?
They've reprinted Urza again.
Yeah, I'm pretty buzzing about that because Urza's now under 10 quid, I think.
$13
on pre-order
as this, so I would guess under a tenner.
Yeah.
But yeah, like most of I'm scrolling down. I'm down to $8, and there isn't too much Modern stuff here. So for me, for the first time ever, I don't think I'm actually going to buy this set at all. I've bought every Master set up
to be honest, like I said with the Brian the 4 precons, I'm probably not going to drop a penny on this set. I will buy singles from this set. I will buy singles from this set. Am I going to buy boosters, collector's boosters, precons? No. Not for me. They've priced me out of the market. And even if it was stacked with reprints, I still am not going anywhere near it.
Yeah. I think that this is the problem, though. Because of the price, I don't know how much this will actually affect.
The prices. I think it's going to pre-orders are going to sell well, right? Pre-orders are singles. I'm eyeing up 4 Urzas for £9 on Troll Traders or Madhouse.
Yeah.
Like, because that card has been insanely priced for not really seeing much play. But is it fun to flop to Sword in Modern sometimes on an F&M? Yeah, I'm down to do that. I'll pay 30 odd quid to do that on a Friday night. Absolutely. You know, I've spent my money worse. So
Yeah, no, I feel that. So just to go back to the commander decks really quickly. So the Sliver commander deck in specific, before the announcement of the Sliver deck list spoiler, Sliver Hive was $8, I think, $9, somewhere around there.
Sliver Hive, that's the
Land. Yeah, you know, obvious reprint, not that expensive. Didn't get reprinted, now it's 70.
Oh, wow.
So that's the case of it. So most of these commander decks, looking at it, are somewhere around $350 to $400 value. They're about 100 quid to buy, $100 to pre-order. And as far as I remember, I think there might be slightly more than 4 cards. I will have to look it up. But hang on, actually, I can tell you 1, 2.
I did hear...
It's about 6. And the reason they're that expensive is all of the cards that are $25 to $30 are the new ones. Yeah. So effectively, that $350 you can take away about 150, 180 odd. So you're getting not that good of a value proposition. The mana bases also are absolutely trash.
That is what I've heard. And to not print Sliver Hive in a pre-con is like...
And to be clear, we're not asking for fetch lands. We're not asking for shock lands. That I get they will never put that in there. But put in like the ones that check out, like a luxury suite. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that could be in these.
And like if you're printing a Sliver deck, print me the Sliver land. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like I expect in a black green elves deck to get a Gilt Leaf Palace. Just saying, Wizards.
Like, but they haven't even put in the Sliver that got printed recently. The one that it was in Time Spiral Remastered that needed printing in ages. They haven't reprinted the first Sliver from Modern Horizons 1, which are like, you know, some of the more expensive Slivers. The Eldrazi deck, no Ulamog, no Kozilek, no Emrakul's, like none of them are in there. Like, you know, the most premier Eldrazi card price wise, I believe, if I'm wrong here, is It That Betrays and Kozilek the Great Distortion.
He's a pretty good one. He's the pitch to counter, right? Or is that the 10 mana one?
When you cast a spell, no, discard, counter with target spell.
I like that. That's a sweet card.
It's a sweet card, but like, did we need that reprint? Like it's like $7.
I mean, yeah.
I just I'm very down on it. Like the biggest value, like so the Sliver deck, the Eldrazi deck is $345. $25.50 of that is the 15 wastes. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. And I don't like to... I am very much an advocate for, like... Not necessarily this product is not made for you, but, like... I find it easy to justify Wizards' price increases because they're a business. And I understand that they want to make money. But there is I have been telling everyone, and I genuinely believe that this would be, like, the most cocaine... Magic set that has ever released. Like, they were stacking everything in it. Crypts, vampiric duels, demonic duels, everything we needed that hadn't been reprinted in a while, and instead they've just kind of like slapped us with a wet flannel.
It has been disappointing. Spoiler season's been disappointing.
And all the best cards were the ones that they spoil at the start.
There's not been a surprise. I agree. Yeah. Like I said, maybe it's Pauper Masters and we didn't realise. Some Pauper Reddit might be blowing up right now. Like, we don't know. And it's like, oh my God, we're getting this random common. I can't believe this has been dropped in rarity from uncommon. We don't know, right? But for a set that's called Commander Masters, I don't feel it's like...
It is
Commander
a bit sad.
standard.
Because as far as I know of the top cards in the set, and to be clear as well, the whole set is $1,972. So it's still a high value set right now before we see what actually stuff costs. But the actual prices of cards, the cards we saw at the start, like the spoiled cards, Doubling Season, Jewel Bloatus, Your Dragon, what else was spoiled? Capture of Jinjar. Yeah. They're all like in the top 10 cards of the set, so we literally got spoiled before the spoilers came out. But I'll pick up.
To be honest, they could have just shown us Jeweled Lotus, and that would have sold pre-orders, right?
Yeah, true, very true.
But yeah, I mean, I won't be buying it.
I'll be buying singles. I don't know. I might buy one collector's box.
Box. 4 packs.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like, if one pack is probably with LGS markup 70 quid. So,
So comment if you want to see that video.
yeah. I mean,
opening
if there
collector
are,
boosters.
unfortunately, the set's bad because I was trying to get people to commit to a collector's draft where everyone buys one box and then we just draft it.
No way.
But it's clickbait. It would have been amazing.
No, it wouldn't. It would have been awful. It would have
probably
been
would have been
good for the
awful.
video, but bad for my bank account.
Yeah, that's fair. Reasonable.
I mean, I opened how many? 4 gift bundles from Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, you did get. Yeah, but the thing is, they were unfortunate because of the ring. Like,
and I got,
yeah.
well, a better value for money than the Commander Masters. And I opened so many collector's boosters, and I have like some spicy full art foil delighted halfling, and nobody wants to buy it. And I've dropped my prices 3 times now, so
I think there is actually a big thing at the moment on how easy Magic cards are to sell. We won't go into detail on it, but I'm selling a fair amount of stuff that I think is between 10 and 20% lower than card market lowest, and it's not moving.
That's
and it's
what I
stuff
mean.
like Tarmogoyfs, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's playable cards.
yeah.
Sheldreds, I've been trying to sell a fucking Sheldred for ages. One day.
To be fair, I think it's seasonal, and we're about to talk about Pioneer season. And actually, I think late in the season like this, where every entrenched Magic player has either qualified for what they want to qualify, or they've had their fill of competitive Magic for this season, and actually they're just chilling at home
Ready
this
to,
weekend,
yeah.
prepping for Modern, maybe thinking about their next Modern deck, and Childred's not there for Modern, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah,
like a one-of, right? If 2 months ago you were like, anyone want a Shieldred, people would have been looking at Red Black Sack, and they would have been like, yeah, boy, I want that Shieldred for my deck, man. Now people are like, actually, I bought 4 gift bundles, I got all my One Rings.
Yeah.
Like, what do I really need right now?
Yeah. So on that note, then, Pioneer RCQ season is approaching its close. It ends at the end of August. So the middle of August. So we've still got a few more weeks. We're recording this on the 21st.
There's
24th of
probably
July.
like 1 or 2 that we're gonna make, right?
There's quite a few that we're going to make. So we'll talk about that later, actually. The
Of
upcoming
course,
events.
because of
The
Gathering. Yay, Francois!
So this Pioneer RCQ season, how did you find the season in general? Have you enjoyed it?
I have enjoyed playing competitive Magic. Have I enjoyed playing Pioneer? No. I won't say I've enjoyed playing Pioneer. But it's been fun. Definitely wish our local game store was providing us with RCQs. Felt the burn of kind of weekends of travelling to different locations. Made easier with the company of the team. But
Or hard?
yeah. So it's been good. It's been good. I think Magic's been good. I've personally made 2 top 8s, I think.
You made 2 finals, right? 1 final.
I made at least 1 final, but chose to give it up, not knowing whether I was personally going to go to Lille.
It is Lille, yeah.
Especially given that the rugby's happening and prices of B&Bs and stuff have gone through the roof.
So I actually had some context on this from Francois. I didn't realise the timing on this, and I apologise to Legacy for trashing them as much. The Rugby World Cup announced their dates and cities 1 week after Legacy announced. So that's why it felt like they'd screwed it up, because it was close. But actually, Legacy did book it first.
Yeah.
It's just the Rugby World Cup is a big organisation, right? Like, they can just kind of
they can take a dump on Magic the
whatever.
Gathering.
Yeah.
You think you're making money? But I
Hold my beer.
imagine though you're a rugby and Magic the Gathering fan. This is like the weekend for you, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure how big that crossover is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Seems pretty stacked Magic players. Yeah. I mean, it's been a good season. Are you going to Lille?
I'm probably going to Lille. regardless of qualification or not.
Yeah.
I'll probably do the last chance qualifier if I do go, just because why not?
Why not? Yeah,
The only reason I won't go is if the Airbnb that has been booked fills up and there's not space. I'm going to make a last minute call because I'm not that worried either way, but I would like to get some content there.
Team Templar, who's made it? Who's made it to Lille?
So far, James Gurney and Phil Mead. Michael, Mr. Winnanen.
Ooh.
Which he didn't know, so he was in the semis. No. Yeah, he was in the semis, lost the semis, and then it turned out the other finalists conceded the ticket.
Was I there for that one? I think I left early.
That was when Neil got his ticket. So another Athena local, though. So.
Athena local, nice. I've only just met Neil at the most recent F&M.
Yeah.
He seemed like a top lad.
Yeah, Neil's a really nice guy.
Nice to see new players.
I think our paths haven't particularly crossed because he's mainly been a Pioneer player, and now he's starting to dip and draft. And
he was playing Modern on Friday. Yeah.
Obviously, Team Templar has a very strict policy on avoiding the draft table.
Agreed.
With a 6-foot barge pole because draft is terrible.
There is one member of the team
who likes draft. Yeah,
who likes to draft instead of anything else. This man wants to draft.
Yeah, Jamie loves drafting. I think James likes drafting actually as well. I think Jamie and James are the two people that actually enjoy drafting. Rocco, if there's nothing if it's a good format, he'll go for it. But I think a lot of us just don't particularly.
It's too lottery ticket for me personally.
I think there is a lot of skill involved.
Yes.
In terms of hate drafting and stuff like that.
Areas you can leverage your superior knowledge and skill in draft. However, even if you leverage your skill and understanding of the game above anybody else, sometimes they just draft a bomb.
Yeah. And in this current set, it's emphasised. But, sorry, Pioneer RCQ season.
Do you see how much we don't want to talk about Pioneer?
Well, I was actually going to counter-argue that although I don't like Pioneer, I've enjoyed the format more than I thought I would come to the end of it. In the I still think it needs to either be powered up or down, but playing... So I switched to Spirits and playing mid-rangey interaction has been a lot more enjoyable for me. I think I'd like White Weenie as well. I didn't like Phoenix because it just felt like you were pissing your opponent off because you're just dawdling and then same kind of thing with Blue White Control for me. I would never play that because you're just kind of nope, win. So I don't know, playing a mid-range deck has been an aggressive mid-range deck, sure, but I've enjoyed that a lot more than a silly kind of combo-y type approach. But it has made me think, has Pioneer, being this format and everyone being a bit down on it, has it got people more excited for the next season? Changing to Modern? Is it got that
Maybe,
relief, the floodgates have opened, kind of thank God it's over?
Yes. I personally wouldn't want to see just Modern as the format. I like that they do different formats. Yeah. Do I think something needs to change in Pioneer? Yes. I might have enjoyed playing Is It Control, White Weenie, Blue White Spirits. I've enjoyed playing different decks. However, if I boil down to the numbers, do I think there's a correlation between winning the die roll and winning the game?
Yep.
Yeah. And actually that winds me up.
Yeah.
That you can't win on the draw necessarily as much as you can in a format Modern. Modern is
or even Legacy. Even the most ridiculous turbo format still doesn't have as much, in my opinion, play draw.
I just it's every turn in Modern or Legacy the percentages are swinging from you're 10% to win to 90% to win, and it's exciting and you don't feel like you're so far behind.
It's not even just the die roll. It's that it feels like you either play an aggressive deck or a combo deck.
Yeah.
There is no, true mid range. I don't think really exists. In that, decks like Lotus Field are, I think the deck's great. I think it takes a high level of skill to play, but it is kind of just gotcha.
Yeah.
You're dead now.
But that you said you didn't like Phoenix. Lotus is the same. I'm doing my thing.
creativity as well was
Undo
very
my
much
thing,
like,
yeah.
especially the list that Reed Duke won with was very much just like 30.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I think Pioneer suffers from having some really strong win conditions with very few answers. And naturally, it's a format that could do with either removing that strong win condition or producing more answers to said
I
win
think
condition.
especially given that they will not put fetch lands in the format, so land count is typically higher and so on. Like even a card like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but like Path to Exile feels like it could be okay in the
Yeah.
format. Like
Oh,
just
definitely.
having a little bit more removal with downside, sure, but removal interaction.
This removal actually removes the thing
Yeah.
instead of like go for the throw where you're like, oh, this works. Oh, this it doesn't work. And like actually, Destroy Evil is a really good card that kind of represents what we could have more of. But yeah, Pioneer it's been fine. It hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. It could have been worse.
Yeah.
But I've had fun.
I wish they took the approach, so they wanted to make it Pioneer, so the end goal is Pioneer, so we play Pioneer for 3 months. The end goal is Modern, so you play Modern for 3 months. I'd rather they announce the end goal and let the stores decide. Because there would always be like a couple of, like most stores would just run the format, but they'd also know their player base and know that, well, if I do the other format, I'll get more players. Because I'd still, if it's a Pioneer Championship, I'd still try and qualify for it at Modern. I would opt for Modern because I'd still want to play the Championship for competitive level, but I would rather play Modern to get there because that's my format of choice and I know it better.
I agree. I think that's an excellent solution. And actually, I really enjoyed the days where you just kind of played the format that the store put on and then you went, oh, I've won an invite and now I've got to learn the draft format.
It should also
be
be restricted to specific formats in that, like, we don't want people running Pauper RCQs because that would be terrible.
Obviously. Well, you say that, but Pauper's a fantastic format. Represent Pauper Reddit who are excited about Commander Masters. Let's go.
I think Pauper actually is a good format, but like, at the end of the day, let's not have vintage RCQs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't completely price us out.
Yeah. Or CEDH RCQs.
No, I would do that. Let's do CEDH. I could do that. Not enough CEDH content.
Yeah.
Our pod's dead.
Our pod
Stephen's
is
neglected
dead.
us.
I'm sorry. But finish things off. Finish things. Fuck. We've just been playing badminton instead. That's the reality. We are literally ending this episode to go play badminton. So, yeah, that's the state of things. Upcoming events, badminton.
Pioneer, badminton.
Yeah, we are booking badminton for the gathering at Axion, so we can play in the mornings before the games. But upcoming events, where will we be? What have we got? What's coming up? So this weekend we're going to be going to Langdon for their RCQ.
Yeah.
The weekend after, there are some exciting going-ons at Athena Games. There's the Modern Store Championship, so we're back to Modern. Thank the Lord.
I'm on holiday.
You are on holiday. The weekend after, we have the Gathering in Birmingham. Axion most of the team will be there. We'll be about the whole weekend getting content, and we'll have a roundup video. So we'll have a roundup, but the reason we're telling you about these, there will be roundup videos for all of these events, basically.
Absolutely.
Following that, it will then be the birthday celebrations at Athena with Chaos drafts of Old Masters sets. The weekend after that, I think finally there's a break, and then shortly after that it's pre-release for the next set. So it's a hell of a lot of Magic.
Yeah, you won't find me at pre-release.
Really? I still love pre-release.
I like it. They're just releasing too many sets.
Yeah.
Too many sets.
Yeah.
Stop releasing Magic sets.
And
I've barely digested March of the Machines.
What about, there was one after that, wasn't there? No, there's not, no. Aftermath, but that's not really a set.
Just stop.
And on that note, we will see you at the next episode. Every month there will be a new episode of Templar Talks. The next one will probably be filmed shortly after the Gathering.
To counteract, stop, actually keep printing so we can keep talking about stuff, because otherwise we'd run out of stuff.
No, we just talk about badminton.
Yeah, but this isn't a badminton podcast.
Well, it could be.
That's the tagline. Templar Talks. This isn't a badminton podcast.
Thank you for listening, watching, and hopefully this is on Spotify. And make sure. I don't know if you can subscribe on Spotify, but subscribe on YouTube, and we'll see you at the next episode.